Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to the Winter Campaign in Arkham Horror, the card game. Over the next several weeks, we're going to take on the Path to Carcosa campaign as our Winter Campaign. I won't spoil too much of what we're in for, but we'll see that over the course of the campaign. With that musing, however, let's go meet our investigators, and we'll start off with the Clover for our campaign. Here's our Clover for the campaign, Monterey Jack. Both of our investigators for this campaign came into the game with the newest campaign, Edge of the Earth. More specifically, though, they came in the Investigator expansion for that campaign, which I unboxed on the channel, link to which will be in the description down below. Anyway, coming off of Christmas in Arkham, we'll have Monterey gathering clues for us in this campaign, so let's go ahead and take a look at Monterey's signature cards, and we'll start off with his Investigator card. So as we see, he is the Archaeologist. 1 will, 4 lore, 2 combat, 5 agility. Fast action for his special ability. At the end of your turn, if you started this round 1 location away from your current location, either gain 1 resource or draw 1 card. If you started the round 2 or more locations away, do both instead. Elder Sign +1. If you started this round 1 or more locations away from your current location, gain 1 resource or draw 1 card. So we definitely want to keep him moving as much as we can. And I'll be looking to upgrade mobility as we get deeper into the campaign. 8 health and 6 sanity. Then we'll take a look at the backside for his deck building options. Deck size of 30 cards. He takes Rogue cards level 0, Seeker cards 1 to 5, Neutral cards level 0 to 5, up to 5 other Seeker cards level 0. So all of the investigators in Edge of the Earth actually have that deck building style, as we'll see when we meet his partner for the campaign as well. Deck building requirements, these don't count toward deck size. Trusty Bullwhip, Buried Secrets, and 1 random basic weakness. Now let's take a look at the flavor text once it focuses for me. Young Jack traveled the world with his father's archaeological expeditions. Now a globe-trotting treasure hunter and an accomplished archaeologist in his own right, Monterey follows in his father's footsteps, securing the treasures of ancient civilizations and lost cultures. But after discovering a silver pendant with a familiar symbol on it, Monterey must explore his own past. Years ago, his father was found murdered with the very same sigil carved into his forehead. The image has haunted Monterey's dreams ever since, but he's getting close. He won't stop until he solves the mystery of his father's murder, no matter what it takes. So let's go ahead and take a look at his signature cards. First up, we have a signature asset, his trusty Bullwhip. 2 cost to play, 2 agility, and a question mark on commit. And it's fast. It also takes the hand slot. It's fast to play it, but the action ability on here is fight. This attack uses agility instead of combat. If the attack succeeds, you may exhaust trusty Bullwhip to either automatically evade the attacked enemy or deal +1 damage for this attack. So it's a good way for him to be able to defend himself in a pinch. But of course, we don't want to be careful to dig too deep with him, because we might uncover some buried secrets. On Revelation, you put buried secrets into play in your threat area. If your location can be investigated, you can't move except by scenario card effects. As an action, investigate. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, discard buried secrets. If you fail, you may take 2 horror to shuffle it into your deck. With the sanity of 6, hopefully that won't come up too often, but we'll have to be careful on that. Anyway, that will do it for Monterey. Now let's go meet our Monster Puncher for the campaign. Here's our Monster Puncher for this campaign, Lily Chin, the martial artist. She starts out as a mystic, but as we'll see in a minute, she's not likely to finish that way. Like Monty, Lily was also part of Christmas in Arkham as we beat Ithaca 2-1. Anyway, let's take a look at Lily's cards, and we'll start with her Investigator card. So first we'll take a look at the stat line for the martial artist once it decides to focus for me. 3 health, or 3 will, 2 lore, 4 combat, 3 agility. You begin the game with each discipline in your deck in play, unbroken side face up, and we'll come back to that. Elder Sign +2. After this test ends, flip a broken discipline you control to its unbroken side. I have been preparing to confront this evil for my entire life. My focus must be absolute. 7 health and 7 sanity. Let's take a look at her deck building options. Lily's deck size of 30 cards. Deck building options: Mystic level 0, Guardian level 1 to 5, Neutral 0 to 5, up to 5 other Guardian cards level 0. Deck building requirements don't count toward deck size. 1 Burden of Destiny for each discipline asset, see below. 1 random basic weakness. Deck building restrictions: no firearm assets, so we can't take any guns. Additional requirements: at deck creation, choose a discipline event to add to your deck. It is considered part of your deck building requirements. For every 15 experience you've earned in total, you may choose and add a different discipline to your asset deck. So we'll need to track how much total experience Lily is getting very carefully. But anyway, now let's take a look at the flavor text. Chen Li speaks rarely. When she does, her words are measured and wise. After a lifetime of disciplined training, every gesture is graceful, uncluttered by hesitation. The monks who raised her said that she was born for a special purpose, to face a great evil. Now, they believe that evil is at hand, and she is the only one who can stop it. That's heavy stuff to put on her, but let's go ahead and take a look at the discipline. So, the first discipline I've chosen for the deck, and I'm actually going to sleeve this the other way, is we've chosen to start with Presence of Fate. Lily Chen only permanent. You get +1 combat, so effectively she'll be fighting at a 5. As an action, you get +5 skill value for the next test you perform this turn. After that skill test ends, flip this asset over. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. I wonder, the one thing I'd be curious about is, say I activate this. Okay, that actually wouldn't stretch into the Mythos phase, so never mind. What I was thinking was, I think they worded it that way so it didn't stretch to the Mythos phase. But the idea is, you pop this as your last action, then you go into the Mythos phase with +5 skill value, but I think they probably ruled that out. Then on the unbroken side, or on the broken side I should say, so similar as you've seen the Investigator mini cards on the channel, we've got a colorful side which indicates it's active, and this is the unbroken side. When it's black and white like this, it's broken. So, after the round ends, if you performed no skill tests this round, flip this asset back over to its unbroken side. So if we get that flipped over somehow, whether by using it or by your signature weakness, which I'll talk about in a second, we basically have to take a round off of doing any kind of skill test with Lily to flip it back over. But with the flavor text that we had, Lily might face a little bit of her burden of destiny. So on Revelation, she has to choose 1. Flip a discipline you control to its broken side. It can't flip back this round, or take 1 and 1. How can I save them if I can't even save myself? Moderately depressing, but what are you going to do about that? So that's another way that the disciplines can flip over, and we have to take 1 of those per discipline that we have in the deck. Anyway, that's both of our investigators, so let's move back up top for the tarot reading for the first scenario. We're back up top for the tarot reading. Before I jump into that, I will mention that, like always on these campaigns, the deck lists I use will be in the description down below, and I'll keep them upgraded with each time I upgrade the decks. So anyway, now let's go into our tarot reading. Like the fall campaign where we did Return to Night of the Zealot, we're going to use balance readings before each scenario. To refresh your memory on what a balance reading is, the way that's going to work, the balance reading consists of flipping over 2 of these tarot cards, which I'll shuffle up here in a second. We'll keep 1 on the upright side, and then we'll flip the other one to the reverse side for the bad effect. So, let's go ahead and have our tarot reading now. So I'll give this a couple quick shuffles. And to cut, and these will be our 2 cards for our first tarot reading. So let's take a look at what we've got here, and I will have to grab a pen for this. I've got one back here. Perfect, this will work. Okay, Now, for our first tarot card, we find that I have no nails, but now we got it. So we find Strength 8. When the game begins, each investigator may play an asset from their hand at -2 cost. Or, on the bad side, during the first round of the game, each investigator cannot play assets. Okay, so that basically doesn't take an action. Then, our other card, the Lover's 6. When the game begins, each investigator searches their deck for an ally asset, adds it to their hand, and shuffles their deck. Or, when the game begins, each investigator searches their deck for an ally asset, removes it from the game, and shuffles their deck. Well, the Lover's 6 wouldn't be as devastating for Monty as it would be for Lily. Because Monty, as you'll see in Monty's deck list, he actually is going to have 2 allies, 2 very powerful allies. I'm going to only be able to have one of them in play anyway, whereas Lily only has 1 ally asset to use in the scenario, or in the deck, so it's very possible that she might not see it anyway. So I think what we'll do is our decks also have a fair amount of assets in them, so I think we're going to flip the Lover's 6 over to its bad side. So we'll start off with, so we can play an asset at -2 cost, and then each investigator will search their deck for an ally asset and remove it from the game. So that's our first tarot reading for the first scenario. With that, we'll go ahead and wrap the video up here real quick. On Sunday, we'll go through the first scenario in Path to Carcosa, as we'll do Curtain Call. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone, and if I don't post again before then, which I probably won't, have a Happy New Year.